So there's no secret that Desmos can really help students to maximize their score on the SAT exam. Today I'm going to talk about the basics of Desmos that most students need to know in order to even take the first step in maximizing their score. So the first thing we need to know here is if you're self-studying or doing any type of studying at home, you don't want to use the regular Desmos calculator because it has some of the functions that are not on the SAT Desmos calculator. And so instead, we're going to go to, I'm going to type it here, desmos.com/practice. So now here, we're going to choose an assessment because we know what we want to do is the SAT. So we're going to type SAT in the box and we're going to click on College Board. Now, of course, if you're in the state of Colorado or if you're in Idaho or if you're in New Mexico, you're going to select those different, either one that, is applicable to you. However, for all the other places internationally or anywhere in the US, we're going to click on College Board. And there's only one calculator, so we're going to go and we're going to start our practice. So notice here, it's a total different calculator, okay? So you want to make sure you're using the right calculator at home so you don't have any surprises when you get to the exam. All right, so some of the basic functions we're going to look at today is, of course, we're going to look at zooming in and out. Sometimes you graph and you can't really see your functions graph, so you're going to zoom in using the plus sign, and the minus sign is zooming out, and that's going to be your functions on the top right. Right, and so some of us, we can also use the mouse pad to zoom in and out with our fingers, right? And dependent on the keyboard that you have, some students can use the up and down arrow to zoom in and out. Now, if you want to go back to the home screen, like what the screen looked like before you even graphed, you would click on home here. So let me do it again. It was a little quick. You'll see the little home here. It says default viewpoint. Once you click that, it'll take you back to the home screen. All right, now let's say you have several functions, like for instance, y equals, x minus 1 and y equals x squared, right? So you have these different functions, y equals 1, and you are done. You do not want to do this anymore. You're like, oh, I want to clear my screen. Well, to clear your screen, you're going to go to the set-in function here, or the little circle here at the top, and we're going to just click on delete all. And this is great for you to do in the event that you've just finished a question on the SAT and you want to move on to the next question. It's always a good rule of thumb to clear your screen to get back to the regular graph as well. It takes you back to the regular viewpoint so that you don't have any errors bringing over to the next question. All right. Also, let's say you want to see your function clearly, or the graph of your function clearly. Well, you can use these two arrows that says hide expression list, and voila, we have a full view screen of our functions graph. And if you want to go back, you'll click the opposite arrows, and voila, we are back with our keyboard. And sometimes that's very helpful. And of course, if you want to make the keyboard a little bit wider, you can do that by putting your cursor until you see the two arrows. You can go in or out with your graphing tool here. Okay. Of course, we know you have, if you want to undo something, like I cleared the screen previously and I was like, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Of course, you can click the undo and then redo if you want to clear that. Also, let's say you want to do several functions like I did previously. I already did it, but let's do it again. So if you do y equals, let's say, x squared, you can just use the down button to go to the next one, right? Y equals x plus 2. I'm just going to use the down arrow to go down. And you can actually use your arrows to go up and down between these functions. So this is a really cool thing to note, all right? Up and down to go through your functions. Okay? All right. And of course, let's just use our clear here, right? Delete all, and we're back to normal. And then the other thing that I do want to point out here, you have your graph settings. So if you click this wrench in the corner here, sometimes when you're graphing, your axis is not looking how it needs to, or sometimes you have to zoom super in, or you have to make your axis wider. So what you can do is you can change your axis minimum or maximum. So let's say we want to go between 0 and 50, right? You can change that. Notice your scales will change. Here you can do, let's say for y, we do negative, let's see, what do we want to say? -1 to negative, or let's just say to 1, right? So notice my y has changed the value with the lower and the upper bound, and likewise with my x's is now between 0 and 50. And we'll see where this comes in handy. We're going to be doing several series in this graph once we're doing this. And so again, if you didn't like this and you're like, oh, this isn't right, you can hit the home button and go back to home, right? Now, this is the first step. Of course, we're going to come back and show you some other things with the keyboard. If you like what you've seen thus far, we hope that you would subscribe, like, and share with other students who are taking the SAT and you want them too to maximize their score. See you next time.